Back here at home in San Antonio, local leaders now in the process of putting together the next budget for the city, and they are asking for your help, the public's input.
Joining us in today's Leading SA segment is Laura Mays with the City of San Antonio. Good morning, Laura. So good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So, Laura, the SA Speak Up budget survey is out and it is ready for the community to take part. So what do our local leaders hope to get from the survey, and how important is participation from our local residents?
Well, I have to say, this is one of the easiest ways that you can get involved with your city council, especially those new members. The budget process is going to be the first thing that they consider, and it really sets the strategic framework for what the city's priorities and goals will be over the next year. So the ideas you can share with us are in a quick survey about your funding priorities. If there are certain areas that are really important to you that you don't want to see cut, those are things that we ask about in this survey.
Laura, I've taken this survey before, so for our viewers who haven't taken this survey, what will it look like? What are those budget decisions that they can, take place in? Is it like talking about potholes, like I want these potholes near my house filled, or, improving city parks? What can they expect from the survey?
Sure. Well, I will say it's a very quick survey, but that input is really important. The first question we'll ask you is about your priorities for the city. And I have to preface this by saying, of course, the city is recovering from the pandemic. And just like your budget at home, we have to look at what the priorities are for investments and also if there are cuts to be made. But we ask about your funding priorities. We ask about restoration of funds for certain areas that might have been cut during the pandemic, like attracting businesses with economic development incentives, streets and infrastructure maintenance, and other city programs or services that may have been rolled back or cut during the pandemic. So those are the kinds of questions that we hope that folks will answer. And then we also ask them really brief demographic questions too. And these are important to us to understand who is taking that survey. So as you see those, they're optional. But if you share that, it helps us let your council member know exactly what you and your neighbors want in your particular council district.
Now, Laura, you kind of just alluded to it. Now, you say it is super short. I've taken it. I took it yesterday, actually. But it not only asks what you want to see, what people in our community want to see, but it also says what people don't want to see cut. You kind of referenced it earlier, the possibility of a budget shortfall. Now, why did you guys phrase it this way, and are we anticipating that budget shortfall?
Sure, and that's a great question. And we are still recovering from the pandemic. The economy is showing signs of improvement, but there is still some uncertainty, especially as we rely a lot on the travel and tourism industry to pick up here in San Antonio. The city is required by law to pass a balanced budget. And for better planning, we do plan a 2-year budget. And so that must be balanced over the next couple of years. We are projecting a shortfall. And so that's why we asked the question, if there are specific areas of the budget that you don't want to see cut, tell us what those are. And we have some options in there that range from anything from streets to public health, police and fire, libraries, parks, those kinds of services. So we are seeing some improvements in the economy. But again, just like your budget at home, when you have to trim back, the city has to do the exact same thing and look at what those priorities are. So when you speak up, it really does make a big difference.
Well, thank you, Laura, so much for taking your time to join us this morning. Again, we're talking about the SA Speak Up budget survey. And if you can't find that link, you'll be able to find it on ksat.com and see Laura's full interview later this morning as well on ksat.com. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.